Have you ever found yourself sitting at someone else's Thanksgiving table? Maybe it is your partner's family or a close friend's. The room is loud, it is chaotic. It is filled with the sounds of a family bickering over absolute nonsense. And in that exact moment, you look at all of it, and a quiet, devastating thought hits you. I do not have this anymore. Then somewhere between the heavy food and the forced small talk, someone casually turns to you and asks a simple question. So where is your family? You just smile. You give a vague, rehearsed excuse because the brutal truth takes way too long to explain. But think about it. Why is it that the person who actively chooses to walk away is always the one forced to endure the awkward stares and the silent judgment of society? We live in a world that is obsessed with bloodlines, a world that assumes cutting off your own flesh and blood is the ultimate act of pure selfishness. But there is a hidden psychological truth that almost everyone gets completely wrong. The people who make the agonizing choice to walk away from their family are almost never the ones who gave up at the first sign of trouble. The reality is this: they are almost always the ones who tried the longest. Blood is thicker than water. We hear this phrase from the moment we are born. Society conditions us to worship the idea of family unconditionally. There is an unwritten rule that no matter how much it hurts, you are simply supposed to stay. And if you dare to draw a boundary to protect your own sanity, the world immediately slaps a label on you. You are called selfish. You are called cold. You are called ungrateful. But science paints a vastly different picture. Dr. Karl Pillemer at Cornell University spent years studying the painful reality of family estrangement. He listened to the raw stories of people who made the choice to walk away. And what he discovered shatters our most common assumptions. He found that cutting ties is almost never a sudden, explosive event. People do not just wake up one morning, have one bad argument, and leave forever. Instead, it is a slow falling apart. It is the culmination of years, sometimes decades of exhausting efforts to make things work. It is a quiet erosion of hope happening day by day until the emotional cost of staying finally becomes heavier than the cost of leaving. Let us imagine a woman named Maya. For her entire 20s, Maya did exactly what she was supposed to do. Every holiday, she would drive 3 exhausting hours back to her hometown. She would walk through that familiar front door, take her seat at the table, and almost instantly become completely invisible. Every conversation twisted into a critique. Why she was not successful enough, why she was still single. In that house, love was a currency, heavily taxed with judgment. Yet she kept making that drive because the thought of walking away felt like a betrayal. Then one year, she simply did not go back. And surprisingly, the world did not end. But a very specific type of mourning began. When someone cuts ties, they do not just grieve once. They grieve over and over again. They are crying for the version of a mother or a father they desperately needed as a child, but never received. They are mourning the illusion of a normal family that they see everyone else taking for granted. And this brings us to a brutal psychological paradox, the tug of war between relief and guilt. On one hand, there is relief. For the first time, the room is quiet. The relentless noise of being diminished has stopped. You can finally hear your own thoughts. It feels like putting down a heavy backpack you forgot you were wearing. But lurking behind that peace is a suffocating shadow of guilt. That voice whispering, maybe I should have tried harder. If you have ever heard that voice, understand this. That guilt is not proof that you made the wrong choice. It is proof that you actually cared. It proves that you had genuine love inside of you. But tragically, that love never had a safe place to land. So, what drives a person to this breaking point? Psychologists call it emotional invalidation. Imagine looking up at your ultimate protectors, and instead of safety, they consistently dismiss your reality. Your sadness is called dramatic. Your basic needs are treated as an inconvenience. You learn a devastating lesson. Who you really are is not welcome here. This is a biological wound. Growing up in a dismissive environment actually alters the wiring of your brain. Your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, becomes chronically overworked. You start to perceive emotional vulnerability as a threat to your survival. People on the outside look for a bomb going off, but it is almost never a bomb. It is a leak. It is the slow, relentless drip, drip, drip of a leaking ceiling. A few drops do not seem dangerous at first. You endure it. But year after year, that slow erosion rots the wood. It destroys the foundation of trust, until one day the entire psychological floor simply collapses. But we must be careful. We should never romanticize this separation. Walking away is not a trendy, healing aesthetic. It is brutal. You are not choosing instant happiness. You are choosing one type of pain over another. You are choosing the sharp sting of loneliness over the slow erosion of your soul. And we cannot weaponize estrangement to avoid healthy human conflict. There is a massive difference between walking away from a toxic environment and developing an extreme, avoidant attachment where you abandon people the second they disagree with you. Leaving a burning building is survival, but refusing to let anyone inside your life because you are afraid of a spark? That is just a different kind of prison. At the end of the day, if a connection is fueled only by obligation, resentment, and a constant performance to keep the peace, then we should stop calling it love. Because it isn't. It is a transaction. It is a bad deal where you trade your soul just to buy a seat at a table where you aren't wanted. Sometimes canceling that deal is the only way you will ever breathe again. Shrinking yourself to fit inside a cage that is too small for you is not loyalty. It is just survival. Choosing yourself over a bond that is breaking you is one of the most devastating things a person can do. But it is also the most courageous. Because you aren't just leaving a house. You are finally deciding that you are worth protecting. If you see yourself in Maya's story, or if you are currently sitting at that stranger's table wondering if you did the right thing, please hear this. You are not alone. There are millions of brave souls just like you, finally learning how to breathe. If this deep dive resonated with you, share it with someone who might be carrying a weight they cannot explain. Subscribe to our channel to join our community of deep thinkers. For more insights into the invisible wounds we carry, click the video on your screen now to explore the silent world of the ignored child. Your journey toward understanding starts here.